Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. As you guys can see from the title, I decided to switch to Davinci Resolve. And no, not because TV and film, as well as a lot of content creators are starting to switch to Davinci Resolve. It's actually because of this guy and the abilities it's going to give me and the flexibility it's going to give me when I'm doing my edits. So let's go ahead and crack this open and I'll cover why I'm switching to Davinci Resolve because of this speed editor. All right, we just got the speed editor in the mail from B&H, and I'm excited to unbox it and add it to my setup. So here's a look at the box, and judging by the size of the box, this should definitely be small enough to fit in my backpack. This will add some weight, but it's acceptable compared to what I'll be subtracting. And right here on the box, you can see it includes the Davinci Resolve Studio license. So as we open up the box, we see the speed editor, a welcome brochure, and the activation card here in the box, as well as a Type-C cable. So now let's make something to protect this for travel. Admittedly, this is my first time printing TPU with my printer, and I'm pleased with the results. To me, this is very near to market quality, i.e. something that you could buy in the store. I'm really shocked at how well this TPU printed out. So let's go ahead and get this on the editor, shall we? In the design file, there's also a cap for the wheel. I'll print this out of PETG for a little more protection. And now this is ready to go in my bag. Minus a few little fibers and hairs, but you know, a heat gun will take care of that. All right, hey everybody, and welcome to my on location set. No, this isn't my new setup. I'm actually on a work trip right now, so I figured this would be a perfect opportunity to show you guys the mobile setup. In my last video, I mentioned the struggles I was having with editing videos. Some of that was due to not having a sufficient setup for editing when I'm not at home. Although I elected to get a MacBook instead of a powerful desktop, portability for editing is just not that great. Add to that the increase in travel for my primary job, the increase of activity with the kids, and the decrease in time at home due to this new post-pandemic world that we're in. I just can't really get videos out as quickly as I want to. I find myself increasingly away without the ability to make simple tweaks to videos to get them completed. On work trips, I also started taking my iPad mini for portability functions, my MacBook for personal high performance items like video editing, and my Dell work laptop, the 9520 XPS 15 for work related tasks. My backpack was starting to get heavy, so I needed to find a little bit better solution. Enter the M2 iPad Pro. But we're here to talk about Davinci Resolve, not my travel bag setup. So why is the iPad causing me to switch to Davinci Resolve? Well, it was actually a calculated decision, one that was actually spurred by having Davinci Resolve on the iPad without any comparable app from their competitors. No Final Cut Pro, no Adobe Premiere on the iPad yet. Let's remember, I switched from using Adobe Premiere to Final Cut Pro when I got my MacBook due to render times. Now I'm switching to Davinci due to the Resolve app on the iPad Pro, which gives me all of the functions I am currently used to having on my MacBook when editing videos. The crazy part is that I mostly was happy with my workflow in Final Cut Pro. Since it was really easy to pick up and intuitive for a one-person show, Apple actually only lost my support on Final Cut because there is no iPad alternative. Which raises another question. How in the heck did Davinci beat Final Cut Pro to having an iPad app on the M2 or the M1 platform, whichever Pro you have? Okay, so now that I can edit on the road, what's next? A way to use certain macro key functions and perform functions on the road like I've grown accustomed to with my Steam Deck and Griffin PowerMate that has become a staple on my desk. Well, that solution was even easier than switching to Resolve. A Davinci Resolve Studio license retails for $295. Average retail for a Davinci Resolve Speed Editor is $250, and that's $250 on eBay. New from most retailers, it's actually $395. So let's do some quick math. $395 for the Speed Editor and the Davinci Resolve license, minus the $250 for just the Davinci Resolve license. It means you can get Davinci Resolve for $145 if you don't plan to keep the Speed Editor and are willing to sell it on eBay or, a site like that. So I mean, the choice was pretty much made for me. So I know some of you are saying, Davinci Resolve offers free versions with most of the features, so why would you need the paid version? There are a few options missing, but the most important is since I already upload most of my videos in 4K, mostly as practice, I'll need the Studio or Pro version to still have the same functionality. As it relates to the iPad though, many have stated that there are some features missing, namely the Media tab, the Fusion tab, the Cut tab, Fairlight, and Delivery. Well, let me show you how to get that back real quick. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and open up Davinci Resolve. And to first get those options back at the bottom, right now you can see we only have the two. See if I can do this with one hand, maybe. See. So you're gonna hit Command Option K. Well, let's wait for it to finish loading. All right, Command Option K. And as you can see, that brings up this menu for your keyboard layouts. You're gonna change a couple of options. Just go all the way down to the bottom. And you're gonna click on Switch to Page. And as you guys can see here, I've added options for color, cut, delivery, edit, Fairlight, Fusion, and media. So 2 through 8. So watch when I hit these commands. So you're gonna hit Shift 2 through 8. Well, actually, let's close this first. Now when you look at the bottom, you have all the different options. Just like you would in the full version. There's Fusion, there's Fairlight, and Deliver. And then from here, you can change your options and most importantly, your resolution. All right, everybody, that's gonna do it for this video. As a quick recap, again, I got this speed editor because the cost and the value for the speed editor with the free Davinci Resolve Studio license was better than just buying just the Davinci Resolve Studio license. It also gives me the flexibility with my M2 iPad to do edits on the road, and with the Davinci Cloud beta, I'm able to also upload my stuff and work on it through the cloud when I'm away from home, with all the traveling I've been doing for my primary job, this will be a great addition to help me keep my workflow organized, as well as do edits from the iPad with a lot of macro function built in. So it'll be interesting to see how this makes things better. I know there will be a learning curve, but nothing I haven't seen in the past. So if you guys like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you see the future of me using this device and anything I come up with that I may think is useful for you guys to know here on the channel. See you guys on the next one. Later.